Hi, hi. It's me. The one who was supposed to stream yesterday. And didn't because she decided to take a coma instead of a nap. I hope everybody's having a good evening so far, because I have been looking forward to streaming for days. But I just haven't, because I have been tired. I have been so tired. So very, very tired. But yes, I enjoyed the music so much that I decided to just make it my intro music. Cause I'm a sucker for some really good piano. I am. So this is Happy Saint Sheol? Sheol? Something like that. I have no idea what it's about. It's a Project Sakai game, where you attend a school and glitchy shit happens. Think of it, I'm guessing it's kind of along that genre of, like Doki Doki Literature Club, that kind of glitchiness. Hold on, I'm just gonna fix this real quick, because it looks like, looking like it's not, I don't want to fit the screen, I want to center it, and I kind of want to do, yeah, that. So it kind of fills up the screen more. There we go. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Now you can see me and the game. There we go. Wait, what the hell? Why is it? Oh, I see, I see. I'm just a little stupid. I'm just a little dumb, a little special. Here. I got an idea, Hold on. Bear with me. Yay! All done. I got it. I mean, hey, what's a Hibiki stream without a little bit of technical difficulties? It's kind of a norm now. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and start. I hope the sound is okay. I'm gonna turn it up just a little bit more because it doesn't seem like it's overpowering my voice at all. Hardly. I finally got a new setup though. I have dual monitors now. Remember how I complained about that almost every single stream? Yes. So I'm really happy about that because now I can see what I am playing and I can see all of your beautiful chats at the same time. It's incredible. Incredible. Because I don't want to miss out on a single message. And it's a little janky doing it on my iPad or my phone. Because I definitely don't want to miss out on any kind of chats. Pure magic. And yes, I am a little special. I'm a little special. So, but we're here to play a game. So, let's go ahead and begin. Hello? Thank you. Ooh! Get to pick my name. So the original name is Belial. Very foreboding name. I could just go... We could just be simple with it. We can just be me. Why is it thumbsing me down? Why is it doing that? It doesn't have to do that. Yes. I wonder if this is one of those games that, I wonder if this is one of those games where, depending on what you name yourself, kind of determines certain dialogues. Also, I don't know if you want me to read all this or not, or just kind of let it play, so... I wondered how much longer we'll be plagued by this heavy fog, a thick haze that has shrouded the world around me since I left early this morning. Despite being midsummer, the ever-present gloom and everyone around me was bundled up in thick overcoats. I'm being judged for my names. Maybe. The unexpected chill in the air left me shivering on the platform in my lighter clothing as I waited for the train's arrival. The voice of the train conductor reaches my ears from somewhere nearby, cutting through the somber atmosphere. The station in the capital is not a place you can stay in for very long. The dust in the air from the coal left my voice hoarse and dry, and my body quickly froze from the blustery chill. And with so many people rushing here and there, I found myself worrying about potentially missing my train if I didn't stay sharp. So I hurried along in an attempt to make sure that didn't happen. A tragedy happened about 2,000 years ago that turned heaven and earth upside down. In the blink of an eye, the world found itself at the mercy of a series of natural disasters and a pandemic later known as pestis. Earth's population were unable to survive in the decay and corruption left in its wake. Following pestis, one man discovered a strange mark on his body that had appeared out of nowhere. Whether due to the mark or not, he received a message from God, along with the power and knowledge to restore the world and how it once was. From then on, everyone born in this new world was marked with the same scar, which became known as stigmata. It's said one's power can be seen in the number of marks on their body. Or, at least, that's what I heard from the town elders. So, who knows how much truth there is to that. At any rate, I grew up in a small communal settlement in the most northern part of the 6 great continents, following the reconstruction of civilization. Unlike in the capital, where pollution makes it impossible to tell the passage of day and night, the sun always shone brightly over the village I was raised in. The resident of a wasteland this desolate would most likely quickly perish. Wonder if I can spacebar this. I can. Last heir of a long-forgotten civilization. But also the descendant of a small tribe from some nameless scrap of land in the middle of nowhere. That's me. I left that village, which had grown tiresome in its familiarity, for the capital, a faraway place I'd always dreamed of. I found it impossible to befriend the folks in my town, who all looked the same and shared the same boring opinions. Not to say that I was an only child, but the age disparity between my siblings and I was simply too great. Either they were old enough to have children of their own, or were literal babies themselves. I was the only young man of marriageable age. I'm a man. Huh. I didn't know. The rest having long since lost their minds, or various parts of their bodies over the years, were simply not capable of taking on a leadership position. And so the folks in the town wanted to place the future of the village on my seemingly capable shoulders. While I fully understand why they came to this decision, it wasn't enough to convince me to rot away in this godforsaken place, listening to the elders' incessant preaching. Surrounded by grandpas and grandmas, aunts and uncles, my family member upon family member, in a veritable sea of relatives, well, the folks here are so deeply immersed in tradition that's impossible for them to embrace anything new, like tepid water festering in a well. That small village was all I knew growing up, and it wasn't long before I grew sick and tired of being constantly surrounded by the same old faces. I've grown bored of waking up every morning in a cramped warehouse wondering if today will be the day that prophet will appear. Go to the capital. Those words plagued my every waking thought over the past 7 years, and yet I had nothing to show for it, other than the well-worn pages of a book, History of the Great Northern Continent, and countless wasted days and weeks and months. If I'd been in the capital, I could have bought a house, got married, and settled down to start building a happy family life, with a partner who I choose to spend the rest of my life with instead of someone decided for me by the village elders. Each time was forced to hold on to the shriveled up hand of another old geezer on his deathbed. I felt almost suffocated by the thought that I too might spend my entire life rotting in a stagnant hole like this one, and that even after death my body would be cremated alongside my brothers and sisters, my soul laid to rest for eternity in a mass grave, surrounded by the same folks I had been stuck with while alive. Then, one day, I was blessed by a miracle. Due to the brutal heat and humidity, our crops were withering to nothing, and we were insanely busy trying to deal with it. Which is when our mysterious visitor suddenly appeared. He was a dark-skinned man with bright blue eyes, his cheeks speckled with multitudes of stigmata. He asked if I'd come with him to work at the temple in the capital, and I gladly took him up on his offer. I honestly felt like jumping for joy. This was my chance. My one and only chance to escape from this suffocatingly small town, which is what ultimately led to me moving to the capital. Ooh, choo-choo train. Turn that up, because I don't think the music's gonna overpower me at all. The train heading to the... Am I a boy or a girl? You know what? It doesn't matter anymore. It does not matter anymore. I don't care. I don't care. The train heading to the capital was incredibly crowded. Hello. Hello. Luckily, I was able to find an empty seat, almost immediately affording me the opportunity to set my heavy luggage down, only to accidentally knock over someone else's belongings with my own. I heard a small gasp, the other person clearly as surprised as I was. I turned to see a girl much smaller than me, enough so that I wondered how she had the strength to lug those giant bags around. I reflexively snatched up my own luggage and took a few steps back. With her shoulders slightly bunched up around her ears, she glanced between the seat and myself before finally sitting down. The girl with the light pink hair, her cheeks flushed a bright red, kept her gaze averted toward the ground. Unsure if she was still concerned about what had happened, I kept her in my sights through the ensuing chaos on the train. That's kind of creepy. Keep your eyes and hands to yourself, young man. She's cute, though. Without a word of warning, the sound of a nearby train signal announced our arrival, and a flood of passengers surged toward the doors. Just before the crowd swept me away, our eyes met for a split second. With a small nod, I just barely caught her lips move. Probably a word of thanks. I found myself forced along by the tide of clearly busy people with places to go. The art style's nice too, I like this. It's cute. It's very cute. There was a long line in front of the building I eventually wound up at. It seemed to be a checkpoint of sorts. Seeing the person in the cramped room on the other side of the window, dressed in monk's robes, I was momentarily reminded of the sacrament of penance. I stood there silently as their eyes scanned me from head to toe before ordering me to wait. The inspector left the cramped room before being replaced a few moments later by a mild-mannered woman. Unlike the previous inspector, this brown-haired lady was not dressed in robes. Robes? Blah, blah, blah. Don't look at her. What voice am I getting? You must be new here. What's your name? Hipika, was it? My, what an interesting name. What would you like me to call you? My nickname? I didn't think I would need a nickname. You can just call me Hebe. Because I got the Shisa? Shisa could be cute. How about that? That sounds cute to me. Shibi? Is Shibi what you'd like to be called? Yep. Now, let's see here. Ah, yes. Your name is on the list of arrivals for today. The lady with the sweet-sounding voice handed me a piece of paper in a well-practiced manner. I caught a glimpse of her stigmata under her sleeve, on her writing hand. Who exactly is she? Can you show me the stigmata on your body? I confidently show her the palms of my hands, and she responds with a warm smile. You're pretty confident, huh? That's a good trait to have. Though, for a boy with hair as black as yours, I'm surprised you don't have more. Is 2 not that many? Here in the capital, youngsters with black hair like yours tend to wield considerable power. Which is probably why they're few and far between. Really? I've had black hair my entire life, and this is the first time I've heard of this. It's just a silly belief some people have. Folks living in the capital tend to view the world through a lens of gossip and bias. You could easily become a citywide sensation overnight. Well then, Hibika of the health department, welcome. I'm sorry, the part of what department now? Confident and funny. You've got it all. I'm sure you'll figure out everything you need to know during your first day here. You must be exhausted after your long journey. Make sure you get a good night's rest. The dorms are located behind this building. It's pretty hard to get lost, but think you can make it on your own? I'm pretty good at finding my way around. Thanks, though. Are you some kind of administrator here? I'm just an old lady. This is where we say goodbye, Shibi. Best of luck in your future. That's when I took my first step into the underworld. Yep, going to hell. Eee, title screen. The end, that's it. Bye-bye. Just kidding. Gotta dance. It's a good song. What? Damn, bitch, you look dead inside. The characters are good. Okay. I think I'm done dancing. I don't think I want to dance anymore. One day. Welcome to day 1. That looks... ain't that grand. I take a step forward. My foot sinks into the wet ground, pretending not to notice. I keep going, dislodging the corner of my shoe from the mud. That's not mud. The more I walk, the heavier my feet get. I let out a breath I've been holding in. Pain. Intense. Like my lungs are being twisted about. My head is soaked too, despite there being no rain. I don't know how long I've run. Eventually someone grasps my sweat-soaked hand. I grip the hand in return and pull on it more firmly. The girl, who is also out of breath, calls my name. It's all just a dream, right? Jesus! Okay, I'll give her a lolly voice. Just give it the best I got. Eek! Huh? Snapping out of my reverie, I frantically look around, trying to get a read on the situation. Yes, this is the temple dorm that I'd be staying in from now on. I wasted no time falling asleep after putting away my things. And in front of me, it's a cute girl. I can't process any of this. What?
Well,
Yeah?
They said new workers are to assemble in their departments in 30 minutes.
I see. The girl hurries out of the room before I can even say hello. And so I've been left alone here in my room. I hear her footsteps pattering away down the hall. I look out the window. The sun is already up. What time is it? I start searching my things, which are still a complete mess for my habit. All who come of age are considered adults and are given the right to start working. If I had lived in the capital, my coming-of-age ceremony would have been a year ago. Still, as of today, I was a respectable member of society. The first thing I noticed upon coming here was how my appearance was a little unusual compared to the people here. Everyone in my homeland had similar skin and hair color, but people in the capital all seemed paler and slender. By my standards, they looked much more unusual than me. In any case, whenever somebody passed me, they looked at me in surprise. I guess I'm the unusual one here. The girl before did the same thing. That's weird. I feel like I've seen her before. Maybe... Have we met somewhere? Strangely, I'm feeling deja vu toward her. I can't get rid of the feeling. Maybe I'll figure it out if we meet again. I head outside of my room, which is still dark. The dormitory. No shit. What should I do? I guess go to work. I have no other option. At least I'm fine. Shit, that's probably what I would look like if I was a boy. Looking at it, that's probably what I would look like as a boy, to be honest with you. I'm fine. I'm pretty fine. Great, time to pump myself up for another day. I head further in, where everything is just as dark, weird, and open the door. Okay, that's a weird sentence. A very specific stench attacks my nose. It's like they covered up the musty smell of an old wallpaper and dust with a deodorizer or something. I even catch a whiff of rotten food. It's actually a little difficult for me to handle. I can feel it in my bones. This place is different from the others. I'm not surprised it's cordoned off from everywhere else like it is. I go inside as a girl with a small frame quickly turns around at the sound of the door being opened. She scowls and scampers off noisily over to me.
What's with you? You're late, and your clothes. Is this supposed to be some kind of joke?
Ha! Perfect voice. What's wrong with my clothes?
Why do you have those strange decorations all over your habit?
'Cause I thought they were cool. How's anyone supposed to wear that stuffy outfit every single day anyway?
Stuffy? You're about to cross a line with your frivolous games, you know. Who in the world are you anyway? They said we'd be getting someone accepted to the magic department on a waiver, but that black on black is all I can see.
Well, what? Her incredibly rude behavior takes me aback, just a little, as I suddenly catch the strong smell of perfume behind me. A blonde girl appears out of nowhere, gets close to me, and grabs a hold of my arm.
Oh, come on. Fighting this on his first day? Please don't bully him too much, all right? He's... Isn't he?
Huh? Something has been bothering me ever since I got on that train. At first I figured it was just a difference in pronunciation or accent, but apparently the language they use here in the capital is fairly different than the one where I come from. I can still make some of it out, but when people talk quickly and quietly like that, I can't keep up with it. In fact, they just mentioned their names, but I couldn't quite make them out. I'm not used to the way they pronounce things here. Oh, I lost my spot. There we go. Well, it'll probably come to me the more time we spend together. For now, I'll remember them as Chairwoman and Blondie. That will get me through this conversation, at least, but if I mishear something important later on, it could be pretty bad on my end. For now, I can sort of tell that the short Chairwoman and the tall Blondie are friends. Chairwoman is ranting and raving as Blondie smiles, pats me on the back, and takes a step away. For an instant, some reason, that gives me an awful chill. Anyway, isn't this supposed to be where orientation is? Are you newbies too?
What? Who are you calling a newbie?
We've been here a little longer than you, so we have seniority.
I'm just here because this girl said she didn't want to go alone.
She pulls a very pink girl over. Why did you call her very pink? I didn't even notice her before. The new girl's... Do you have short-term memory loss? Because you've seen this girl literally 3 times. And you still can't remember who she is. She heaves a little sigh that sounds anxious and keeps her eyes down, only occasionally glancing up at me. And once again, I can't help but feel like I've seen her before. We've seen her like 3 times! You should know who she is by now! Oh my god. This morning,
Anyway, yeah. I'm her big sis.
Wait, you look nothing alike.
That's because we're stepsisters. Ah. Hey, would you say something? I know you can at least introduce yourself.
They're putting drugs in his tea. Just slowly removing his memory.
Elbeth. Pleased to meet you.
Right. Maya's all scared. Is it because she's talking to a man? That's adorable.
No, I told you, she's always been like this. Even back home, remember?
My name is Hibika. Thanks for this morning. I guess I'm older, but, pleased to meet you nonetheless.
It's only by 1 year anyway. The difference is nothing when it comes to working here. Both of you are essentially babies.
Hibika, huh? That's a rather unusual name. Hey, Shibi. Did you know what it is we do here before you came? What do you do here? That apparently struck Blondie as pretty funny, since she starts cackling, mouth wide open. The other gives an exasperated sniff.
Are you sure you're not in the wrong place?
That's not what I meant. I was told this was where I'd get an explanation. Hey, I know this kid's a riot, but just explain it to him already.
Ugh. Fine. But I'll only say it once, got it? Maya, make sure you listen to this again.
Everyone chuckles. Maya, the only one with an uneasy expression, nods along with me. During the explanation, I get distracted by how Blondie, who stood next to me, keeps looking at me and laughing, but in essence, this is how it is. This is temple. This is temple called Saint Sheol. It was established in the center of Kyria to save people from pestis, using power granted by God. Each of the 6 continents possesses a similar temple administered by the cardinals of each region. Here, Saint Sheol is divided into 4 departments, each under the purview of a bishop. The magic department, the academics department, the health department, and the cleanup department. Of the 6 temples, Saint Sheol is the only one with an established department for cleanup, which is what we're assigned to. We're essentially the cleanup crew that makes sure the nation's cogs keep turning, and after a week of training, we'll be acknowledged as official members of the clergy. I wanted to make sure I understood everything properly, but it didn't seem like they'd answer me outright. Without a choice, I save my questions for later and try to organize all the new information in my head. I see. Well, thanks. Are Maya and I the only new workers today?
This department is always understaffed, but we always get new people at the end of every month, little by little on a regular basis. That sort of thing.
Oh, did you want to meet the other boys and girls? Don't worry about that. You'll be able to soon. I've got plenty of friends to introduce you to. I hear the door open again. The two of them break off the idle conversation they were lapsing into. Chairwoman's face scrunches up at the sight of him. Oh, why, if it isn't the Securate. Weren't you busy? What are you doing here? Blondie approaches him first, but the boy doesn't even spare a glance for her. Instead, he sets a stare directly at me. Wait. I thought only new members could come in here.
That's what I want to ask. Why are you here? The bishop is
unable to come today. She is a busy woman. I'm just here in her place. They don't seem to be friends. The chairwoman glares at him for cutting her off, but purposely doesn't say anything in response. Their short conversation seems like it's over already. The one Blondie, called Securate, comes over to us and looks me up and down. Ever done this kind of work before?
There's no point in asking that. He literally didn't know anything about it. In fact, I just finished telling him what it is we do here at the temple.
Securit, would you be so kind as to show these two proverbial ropes? What?
The bishop left this task in your hands, didn't she? I highly doubt you were planning on pushing such an important, crucial job under us, hmm?
Yes, that's right. We have to get to work ourselves. Thank you for this, temp assistant bishop. The boy says nothing as the two girls go past him toward the door.
That one's my little sister, so you'd better do a good job of teaching her.
One of them makes a final demand before exiting the room. The other casually turns to us and waves before leaving. I wave back, not really thinking about it, but a moment later I come to my senses and turn around. The boy is still here, and he's got his his eyes narrowed into a severe glare. Finally, he heaves a big sigh and gestures for us to come with him. As we exit the stairs onto an upper passage, the sound of our footfalls along the floor become awfully loud. Does everyone here wear boots with heels or something? Even outside, the sun is still below the horizon. The gaudy stained glass on the hallway's wall reflects the dulled light of the sky, coloring the entire building with a pure light blue tone. It almost looks like sunrise. What time is it even? Does the sun not rise in the capital or something? It's the polar night right now. The polar night?
It's the time of year when the sun doesn't rise during the day, so it's always nighttime.
Really? Maya, you're pretty smart, huh? Does that mean it's going to stay this cold?
I suppose. Do you not like being cold, Chibi?
I come from a warm place, so I can't quite get used to it. Wait, did you just call me Chibi?
Well, I like calling people nicknames, so would you rather not?
No, not at all. I like it. Feel free to call me anything you want. You're cute enough. You're cute.
Oh, good. Securit, right? If it's alright with you, would you mind if I called you Red?
Yes, I'd mind quite a bit.
Well...
Hey, look at how hard Maya's trying to talk to you. You could at least be a little nicer. Without turning around, he takes out a binder. The papers inside were written using a typewriter. On them are designated places ranging from simple addresses to nonsensical sequences of numbers. Several of them have been checked off in red ink. Record the work you each perform in here. It's fine to simply observe since it's your first day, but starting tomorrow, you'll have to actually do the work and write it in here. What kind of work is it? Securit says nothing to us, instead quickening his steps and turning the corner, going past the checkpoint. One look at the white rosary around my neck, and the examiner silently lets us through. Hey, I asked what kind of work we're doing. Trailing behind him, I ask once again. He coughs nervously. Did I make him mad or something? Slam! Before leaving through the entrance, Securit pulls out a handcart. It clatters loudly on the floor. All sorts of cleaning supplies, plus a few sacks, are piled upon it. Take this, he says in a rather high voice. Those vocal cords haven't been affected by puberty yet. As part of the cleanup department, our jobs are to sanitize the work areas of other departments that get dirty from exterminating evil spirits, to clean up and deal with any reported corpses. Ah, I see. and to exterminate pests that have been growing in number recently. We also perform preservative treatment on dead bodies, assist their funerals, and get rid of the lost. Essentially, any troubling work like that. The kind that needs manpower falls on us. The lost. You don't know about them? After I repeat the unfamiliar word, thinking about it, Securit stops and turns back around to us. He doesn't reply with an answer. I look at him blankly, after which his gaze shifts to Maya. Apparently she knows about this. I'm the only one who doesn't. Seeing that she does, Securit shakes his head and starts walking again. You know how people possess the sacred power? Yeah, the stuff needed for the stigmata to appear, right? Yes. It's also called God's only mercy to man. That's just how incomprehensible this power is to people. But what do you think happens to this sacred power when its vessel dies? I'm guessing it doesn't go away? Correct. Back home, the tradition is to cremate people immediately after they die. Instead of looking upon the faces of the dead, we gaze at the blazing flames, enduring the distinct odor of burning flesh and saying our goodbyes to the fire. I was never happy with that, so one day I asked the big man in the village about it. I just realized now that he said something very similar. Human corpses couldn't be returned to heaven without immediately burning their bodies. Otherwise, their lingering resentment would remain in this world, and they would become monsters that crawl on the ground. The hunks of flesh, controlled by that sacred power, have no consciousness nor memories. They either continue moving until they run out of energy, or, more likely, they attack people. They don't have consciousness, but still instincts, or something like it. It's up to us to retrieve and deal with them. We never have enough people for it, essentially. We take people in without even checking their number of stigmata or status in society. The rest of the world doesn't take kindly to us because of it. Since you two are still in training, though, you won't be directly sent to the Pestis. Instead, you'll probably be doing simple jobs like cleaning. Securit continues to walk as he explains, his voice flat and disinterested. The cold terminology pierces my ears as I travel down the dark path. I'm not completely sure I have an accurate understanding of the terms and explanations I've heard. Next to me, Maya's gait has been growing more and more unsteady. Thinking her feet are tired, I look at her in worry, only to see that she's shaking and her face is as white as a sheet. Doubting exhaustion is the only thing at play, I purposely raise my voice. But by the way you describe it, the cleanup department are just slaves by the temple. Perhaps. But it's work necessary to ensure the smooth operation of the country. Time to do some cleaning. After traveling a bit, he stops in front of the residential building. I can see plenty of signs that people once lived there, but not a single person in sight. As I hurry to catch up to him, my foot catches on some kind of flat board. There are several of them sticking out of the ground. They look like signs that are trying to keep people out. Nobody told me about any of this beforehand. Would you just be quiet for a moment? Excuse me? Angry at his cold complaint, my voice becomes rough, but for a moment later, he smoothly passes a mask to me. Confused, I say nothing more and take the mask from him. After he gives another mask to Maya, he starts rolling up his sleeves. Breathe through your nose as little as possible. Securit puts on white rubber gloves that go all the way to his elbows. Then he puts his own mask on before taking out a relatively large bucket and a few sacks from the handcart we brought here. Having lived in a harsh place where people died every day, this wasn't my first time seeing corpses. Nevertheless, the sight I witnessed once passed through the door was a terrible one. Maya gasps and tenses, her body shaking. I step in front of her to block the view. Even through all the white smoke from the disinfectant, I can clearly see the maggots covering the floor like a living sheet. With too much exposure to moisture, the wooden floor has rotted away and the pieces of corpses are stuck to it. They've begun to melt. Have already turned black. Flies buzz around the crushed and desecrated skin. Unable to breathe at the horrific sight, Maya covers her mouth and nearly falls to the ground. Her delicate arms and legs are shaking. I feel so bad for her, and also concerned over what might happen if she really did fall.
It's awful.
You call this awful? This is proof that this person lived. Have some respect. Yeah, sure, maybe, but it's just a dead body now. You're not supposed to shove stuff like this in other people's faces. Well, it's also proof that this person died. Sekuret sighs from inside his mask and picks up a sack. I'll handle this. Stand back. If you just stand there, you'll get in the way of my work. Is that a normal thing to say in this situation? I want to argue with him somehow, but more than that, I can't leave Maya alone. What a simp. Because of how stifling the air in there was. The air outside feels awfully refreshing now. Maya leans against me, finally putting one foot in front of the other with some steadiness. Eventually, the hand softly holding my shoulder squeezes tightly. She's still shaking. Eventually, she lets go and heads over to the wall. Before I can think of something to say, she loudly vomits. The watery, mostly uncolored contents of her stomach fall from her mouth to the floor in clumps. She then slides down the wall to the ground, not even a hint of color on her face. Are you all right? I asked, walking up to her to check on her. She bites down on her lower lip and groans in pain as she shakes her head. Her eyes are squeezed shut, and tears fall quickly from them.
I can't do this, she weakly stammers. I said I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to come here at all.
Hey, calm down, come on. I use the outside of my mask to wipe the bile from Maya's mouth a little at a time. She was driven here to this polar region, and now she's raised her voice in terror. She looked so much smaller now. Sensing my feelings, Maya sniffles and uses her own sleeve to wipe her eyes.
I wish I was in your shoes. You get to go to the magic department when your training is over.
Despite being inarticulate through her wheezing, her words resonate clearly in my ears. Her eyelids are swollen and red, probably from rubbing them so much.
It's rough not having any talent, she goes on. It's really rough, Sheepy, to have nowhere to go.
I haven't seen very many girls my age. Plenty of their brothers were around where I used to live, but their sisters were either pretty young or quite a bit older than me. Because of that, I never even seen a girl crying like this, much less had to comfort one. But there one is, right next to me, just 1 year apart. Words of consolation whirl through my head, only to shatter pointlessly in the moment I try to speak. My mind blanks, then gives way to a certain thought. Do people in the capital shove children like her out into the real world just because they've technically become adults?
I didn't want to become an adult at all, she says, echoing one question in my otherwise empty head.
We weren't prepared for this. We weren't prepared for this in the slightest. What were we even supposed to do?
Adults, adults are the worst. Her hand raised high above her swings down as if to throw something, then lies there trembling. I take the hand and squeeze it. Her hand is much smaller than mine, and is covered in tears and snot all the way to her sleeve. Then I'll help you, I say. Maya's eyes widen as she looks at me. With what? She asks. Her confusion sounds a lot calmer now than before. Her ragged breathing has been steadying out too. I'll just help you, I repeat, no matter what happens and no matter what you need help with. Maya's surprised, but I'm downright shocked. I didn't realize I grabbed her hand like that. I release it. As I do, her wide eyes slowly return to normal. That probably calmed her down a little. She looked down like she usually does, then sniffles. Thank you, she says. Sorry about that. No, don't be. I'm the one who should be sorry for worrying you. Chibi, I've thought this the moment we met, but you really seem to like helping people. From the moment we met? You don't remember? We met on the train coming here. Wait, really? Oh, now that you mention it. So that's why I felt like I've seen Maya somewhere before. Yeah, or you have short-term memory loss. You saw her like 3 times. We go back into the house and hear the clatter of the handcart. The empty sacks from before are now full. He must have dealt with the gore inside. I glance to the side, accidentally locking eyes with him. Securit uses a dirty glove to lower his mask, then hands a mop and broom to us, one each. Ever cleaned before? With rags, sure. Then could you get the living room? Looking nice? I picked everything up, so... gotcha. Don't think you can stomach it? No, I'll be fine. You're only human. I won't demand a perfect job on day 1. But this is the easy part, so you need to at least do your best with this. Right. Starting tomorrow, we'd have to get used to not only seeing dead bodies, but also touching them. But even with the anxiety rising above every other emotion, seeing Maya's face twisted into even more worry than mine naturally made me want to worry about her too. She's never been an active conversationalist, but she's been a lot quieter than she was before. I would have to think over what to talk about with her carefully. As 3 pairs of footfalls and the rolling of heavy handcart reverberate around us, Securit finally breaks the silence. Noon already. Huh? This is when the temple has lunchtime. Oh yeah, time to eat! I have such an appetite. You two go back ahead of me. What should we do after eating? Guess you should rest up, then go back to your dorms. You're letting us go back? We don't usually make trainees work very late. Didn't you hear about that? Oh! Good thing, too. Also, starting tomorrow, could you ask about work from those girls instead? I was only asked to do this for today, so... Just as I'm about to ask him more about that, he pulls the handcart away with a loud clatter, marking the end of the conversation. I didn't even respond to that. He probably made that loud noise on purpose. What a pain.
As I watch him grow smaller and smaller in the distance, without bothering to turn back, I curse him under my breath in retaliation. When Maya and I reach the cafeteria near our department, we find a lot more people around than before. People who give off similar auras are chatting and laughing about pointless things in their assigned groups. As we pass them, their topics sound similar, yet they're all different. As we enter, people we've never seen before see us and break out into laughter. The laughter spreads around them in a strange rippling effect. Are newbies coming back from their jobs so amusing to them? Apparently, we've earned some popularity in this department. They bombard us with questions and greetings. As we're responding to them, someone behind me softly grabs my shoulder amidst the noise of the room. "I'm borrowing him," she says. It's the blonde-haired girl we met this morning. The scent of her thick perfume seems a little different to me now. Maybe she's been somewhere full of the stench of corpses this entire time. She's been working here this whole time, too. The more a girl her age wanted to do herself up, the more she'd probably hate the stench. Even I would refuse to do this if I could. As she tugs on my arm, the nearby boys that had accosted me grin and wave their hands after me. I thought maybe people in the capital would be gloomy and unsociable, but it looks like I was wrong. Thanks for getting me out of that one. You weren't lying when you said a lot of people would be here. You're dead tired, huh? Maya. And Hibika too, lest you forget. Are you okay? Did this buffoon or some other annoying kid bully you or anything? I am. Hey, we weren't bullying her. It's making me dizzy. It wasn't this noisy before, so maybe it's because the sun hasn't come up lately. Everyone's talking about disasters and calamities and such. About what? There's crazy beliefs about the end of the world. All this stuff about being the 2000th year since that great disaster. I'm so sick of these superstitious beliefs. Yeah, and we had so many applications for a while, when all the apocalyptic rumors about the Great Flood were going around too, didn't we? And those magic department mooks almost worked themselves to death. Wish I could have seen them. They just like rumors, that's all, right? Yeah, right. Anyway, how was work, you two? Pretty rough, yeah? It was, more than I expected. Actually, I'm not sure I'm ever gonna get used to it. You might not ever. It's really rough for us, too. The Cardinal here was the one who set up this insane department. He's gotta be touched in the head or something. The sandwich I was given as my share is the worst sandwich I've ever seen. The bread is hard and cold, and not only is there a complete dearth of any meat on it, the sloppily applied sauce is nothing I've ever seen before. To make matters even worse, it's the shawarma all over again. We're gonna get sick and have a bad dream. The only thing sandwiched in the sandwich is a slice of lettuce. And I don't know how long it's been sitting out, but it's as chewy as rubber. Ew. Ew.
This is it?
Maya says something about it before I can. There's milk too. Wait, hang on. You're telling me this is supposed to fill me up?
Oh, be quiet and stop your incessant whining. You're not a child. Everyone here feels the same way without you making a fuss about it. Just shut up and eat.
Ugh. I've got a lot of complaints, but I reluctantly force my teeth to bite through the world's worst bread. Mealtime. Though it would be blasphemous to call this food and conversation that continued to drag on.
Hmm? I was just wondering what Securit is like. We left early, so... What? Huh? Ugh, thanks for making me lose my appetite. Maya, don't you have a thing for that sleaze bag, do you? Oh, you don't have a thing for that sleaze bag, do you? No, it's not like that.
How old is he? He's pretty small, actually. Are you sure he's male? That's rude. He's the same age as you. And yes, he does seem to fit in here, doesn't he? Apparently, he has 3 stigmata. Isn't that amazing? I don't know. I have 3 stigmata too. Most of the people here know each other since we were raised in the same monastery, but nobody seems to have ever seen him before. They say he's from the capital. I wonder what he's doing before this.
It's all just awful. I wouldn't want to risk catching some disease from him. Actually, maybe that's why he doesn't clean the people.
Their docile expressions change completely. Isn't that funny to them? I zone out, unable to keep up. Maya's face, meanwhile, is a nice contrast to mine. She still looks like she's a second away from crying. Just like the first time I met her. Oh, she's like me, for real, for real. Maya falls silent again. She probably doesn't know what to say either. But apparently, Securit's been working here for a while, making him perfect to foist the most annoying jobs onto.
Yeah, just like this morning, with guys like him. Whoever foists the most pain in the butt job on someone else first is the winner. Oh, not to say you two were a pain in the butt, really. Just, you know what I'm saying, right? So, he has seniority here.
Not bad for someone so measly. You're pretty cute, Maya, so you might actually be able to draw his interest if you cling to him enough.
I couldn't. Hey, keep your weird ideas to yourself.
He might be into younger girls, you know. After all, men are all. And with Sheriff Woman right next to them, Blondie bends forward and whispers that into Maya's ears. They both go wide-eyed in surprise upon hearing it. Sheriff Woman laughs. "Cut that out," she says, giving Blondie a light push on the shoulder. I watch as the two of them start cackling. She probably kept her voice down on purpose. Even with a good view of her lips moving, I couldn't make out what she said. I laughed flatly. To be honest, I couldn't guess from context. Poor Maya. She's giving a troubled, empty smile again. Idly, I wonder why they're doing this in front of me anyway. Did they forget I'm here? That's when my eyes meet hers as she laughs. The girl, just nearby, leans on her shoulders and directs a narrowed-eyed gaze at me. She doesn't laugh loudly. If anything, it's more like a titter. That's when I become sure this wasn't a coincidence or a misunderstanding. They made a joke at my expense. Is this a warning or something? I don't have time to think about it any more than that, though. A bell rings in the distance, and the girls' faces shift back to their cool, serious facades.
Ah, this won't do. I have to get back to work. Oh, lunchtime is over.
I wish I could go back to being a trainee. You're leaving?
Yes, and if you're not busy, I suggest taking a look around. If you don't mind making an effort to get used to this place, you'll start getting lost all the time. This temple is super big.
See you later, little kittens. Right. Best of luck with your work, too. Now then. Where should I go? Do I have options? Oh, I have options this time. Guys, we have options. I get to play game. Flower garden, workplace, Infirmary. I like the flower garden. I want to go there. I want to look at flowers.
While wandering around outside our department headquarters, Maya suddenly stops dead in her tracks. I spy a crude arch entwined with roses, reaching upward toward the sky. The petals are wilted as if from neglect. Can we just go in? There's a couple of benches around, so why not? Maya sits on one of them, staring fixed at the dirt packed between the bricks on a nearby wall. Oh! I sit down, keeping a watchful eye on her. Her unexpected cry of surprise causes me to jump in my seat. What's wrong? Look! There's a bud sprouting. You're right. Seems like they're managing to thrive, huh? Even in this abandoned garden, they're finding a way. Impressive. Do you like flowers? Like them, I guess so. So why not come out here when things get rough and you need a break? You could even water the flowers sometimes, I bet. You really think they'd let me do that? I'm sure it's fine. Look, I'll help too. Okay then.
Where should I go? Great. Well, it is a demo. I'm sure they're just kind of giving us little snippets here and there. We'll probably go through all these places and then that's probably when it'll end. Maybe. Maybe.
Managing to work my way against the flow of people, I find myself in an area filled with smoke and stinking of burnt char. Is something on fire over there? You know the cleanup crew in charge of picking up garbage, right? I think they're burning it.
Oh yeah. Then this place must be one of our workstations, huh?
Seems that way. Wait, are you really going over there?
Yeah, sure. What about you? Don't want to?
Oh, well, my nose is burning enough just standing over here. It's not that I don't want to go, but maybe you could go for both of us? There's somewhere else I need to be.
Yeah, well, if you're busy, then you should go. I'll catch up with you later.
A part of me feels bad leaving her on her own, but I want to visit as many places today as possible. And there's only one of me. Despite the space looking large enough to comfortably hold around 10 people, it seems everyone took off immediately after work, leaving the place empty and quiet. Looking around the room lined with rusted containers and not much else, I hear familiar sounds and turn to find an equally familiar face. Securit's a short distance away, and just like yesterday, he's pulling a cart behind him with one hand.
Hey!
Ugh. Don't ignore me. Still got work to do?
You're way more devout than you appear.
The closer I get, the thicker and more cloying the burnt smell grows. It's an almost animalistic stench, mixed with the sweetness of rot. I caught occasional whiffs of a similar scent back in my village. Is this place some kind of crematorium?
Something like that.
He could have gone into more detail about what he meant. Instead, he simply shuts his mouth. And then Sekirat returned to the task at hand. What an exemplary work ethic. Watching him, my thoughts turned back to the incident at lunch. For being such a skinny guy, I wonder what his deal with food is. Partially distracted by random thoughts, I absentmindedly noticed a blue-black mark at the nape of his neck, half hidden by his hair.
Stigmata? It's an oddly difficult to see spot. You've got some trash stuck to you. Huh? When I brushed the white piece of fuzz from his neck, his shoulders momentarily stiffened as if flinching back from my touch. Then he hunches over. He turns back to look at me, his eyes wide with shock, before immediately averting his gaze. Even the chickens in the backyard were never this wary of me. Securit's over-the-top reaction is slightly off-putting. If there's nothing for you to do here, then go home already. Come on. I said let's talk. You've been ignoring me all day. You and me? Talk about what? Exactly. Look, I get it. You're a grouchy guy with an awful personality. I don't care how you treat me, but Maya doesn't deserve your sarcasm. Ugh. I thought it was obvious, but Maya's a girl. What does her gender have to do with her ability to get her job done? He's for equality. He said these hands are rated E for everyone. He basically straight up said she can't do her job. I don't think that's what he said. He just kind of said the fact that she's a girl doesn't mean she can't work. Seriously? And what would you do if Maya heard you just now? You know, it wouldn't hurt you to be a little more nice when asking others for favors. You were scouted to work here, and yet all you've done from day one is chase women. You truly are scum. Shut up and listen, smartass. You've been running your mouth so much, I want to slap you. Who do you think you are? You're the one who needs to shut up. The only guy running his mouth around here is you. The dull thunk of a container hitting the ground echoes loudly in silence. He's had his back to me this whole time, and I barely have time to register what's going on before he turns to face me. He glares, looking straight into my eyes, barely suppressing his anger. Letting out an exasperated sigh, he slowly begins walking toward me. You. What makes you think you have the right to shove your nose in other people's business? What did you say? You don't have the faintest idea what I'm talking about, huh? Tell me, as part of the disposal team, what exactly can you do in the underworld? Alert and wide awake, I find myself reeling with discomfort, faced with such an unforeseen situation. Disposal team? The underworld? Is he talking about Saint Sheol cleanup department? You'll have to find someone else to wipe your ass. Get out of here. Go home and get to bed so you can get up on time tomorrow. While I stand there, uselessly trying to untangle the words that lay clumped together in a mess in my throat, he brushes past me on his way to who knows where. I once again left behind, unable to speak up in my defense. Alone and unable to bear his abominable silence, I trudge off, feet dragging behind me. His attitude coupled with his I need some water. With his emotionless warning only incites my rebellious nature more. What an insufferable prick. I heard that first impressions speak a lot about a person. And if it's true, then that guy is an absolute piece of shit. The bad reputation that precedes him makes him far more sense now. That look of pure hostility on his face when he met me for the first time, his intentional choice of words meant solely to piss people off. Thanks to him, my thoughts are a damn mess. Well, looks like it's all downhill from here. Looks like we're going to the burp. Sorry. Excuse me. Looks like we're going to the infirmary, and I drank my water way too fast. I proceed through the darkened hallway, past the central fountain. It's weird hearing people's voices coming from all around me, and yet the sky is pitch black. The cold smell of marble that lingered in my nose this whole time suddenly vanishes as soon as I turn the corner. It's replaced by the sweet, buttery scent of baking bread, coming from somewhere close by.
I don't think you're supposed to go in there.
I'm sure they'll let us off the hook if we tell them we're new here.
I don't know.
Before our argument can process further, the door flies open, her yelp of surprise ringing in my ears.
Well, well.
Ah! You two again. Are you on break? Don't just stand there, come on in.
Are you sure? I don't know.
Great, don't mind if I do.
No.
Upon entering, I'm greeted by a warm, pure white room filled with the same smell of baking bread I noticed from the hallway. It's almost enough to make me forget the horrific scene I had just witnessed. How can a place like this even exist in a building as bleak as the temple? I hear a quiet clacking sound and turn to see a gloomy-looking man poking away at a typewriter on the other side of the partition. His attention remains fixed on the paper in front of him, squinting in concentration, seemingly unaware of our presence. Oh gosh, seems like we just ran out of snacks. Would you two like coffee or tea?
No thanks.
Have any milk? I like milk. Sure do. One milk for Shibi coming right up. Why does it always come down to milk with me? Ugh. This lady's the first person I talked to upon arriving here at the temple. She has a kind voice that's warm and bubbly. Listening to her always puts me at ease. She never seems to wear the traditional priest habit, however, preferring to wear a white coat that makes her look like a doctor. To make up for it, though, rosary beads hang from her breast pocket like a brooch, glittering in the light. It's hot, so don't burn yourself. Ah yes, my glass of warm milk.
I appreciate it.
Oh, it's tea. Never mind. Thanks. So what exactly do you do here anyway? Oh gosh, what do I do? I guess I never gave you two a proper introduction, huh? My name's Gret. I'm a part of the health department. You probably don't know what that is yet, hmm? Basically, we help diagnose and take care of anyone who gets sick here. Oh, kind of like a doctor. You can call me that if you'd like. Honestly, it'd make me really happy. I'm always here to chat if you ever need if you ever have health concerns. You can also stop by if you just want a cup of tea and a cookie.
Thank you so much for everything.
Wow, I didn't even realize nice folks like you existed in the temple. You bet we do. The temple's full of great people. Did you already meet the bishop for your department?
They were apparently a little too busy today.
That'll happen. Speaking of which, I'm dying to know what they're really like. Haku Ekuron is truly amazing. Their story is pretty unusual, actually. They started working here as a bishop when they were only a few years older than you two. They're really strong, and the nicest person around. A truly wonderful human being who routinely goes above and beyond to help those around them. I'm sure you'll like them too. I'll probably understand better when I meet them myself. Do you two go way back? Well, yeah, I guess we do. The longer I have to assess a person's worth, the stronger my bond with them grows. I hope you two are able to share that kind of relationship. You've got a lot of hard work ahead, so stay strong and do your best. I'm rooting for you.
Thanks.
We'll be seeing you. Nighttime. The sky is pitch black.
I have a feeling my sisters are long gone by now.
Are you gonna head back too?
Huh? But what about you?
I was thinking of spending a little more time taking a look around.
Oh, what do you do if you get lost?
Don't worry, if there's one thing I'm good at, it's always knowing where I am. I watch Maya trudge off, her shoulders slumped, before giving a full body stretch. Time to get a better grasp of the neighborhood. Where should I... Okay, I guess we're going to the secret place. I guess we're going to God knows where. That's what this is called. God knows where. You're right there. The blue-black colored sky has blended into the air around me, making it even colder. They told me the capital was chilly, but I didn't think it would be this frigid. Is it night now, or is it actually morning? The sky has been dark since this morning, so I have no way of knowing what time of day it actually is, as my surroundings rapidly darken. I don't like the increasing sounds in my ears right now. I was trying not to think about what crawls up from the bottom of my mind. No, I can't be lost, can I? I'm pretty sure I'm not far from where I started. But this deep, overgrown, and paved path is definitely enough to scare me. That's just great, I say, admitting to my blunder. I scratch the back of my head. There's no point in standing around like this, so I turn around to go back the way I came. But on the other side, I see what looks like a building. It has a huge glass windows, plus a cylindrical tower or something. If I'm not mistaken, that's a chapel. But something seems off about it. It dominates the space around it, like some abandoned building. It's the only thing in this completely overgrown outdoor area. I approach it to check things out, still nobody around through the dirty windows. I see vines growing up the rotting walls like a monster messily devouring a meal. Whatever the case, it certainly doesn't seem to be in use. Scrape, scrape. I hear the sounds of something scratching along the dirt and sand. If that's a mountain beast, I'm in trouble. I hurry and hide myself, then look in the direction I heard it. Surprisingly, as my eye turns that way, I see a person standing there alone. There's no mistaking it. Not considering the utterly black night sky and the pure white light radiating from them. The person has white hair, neatly tied at the back, and wears a rose corsage in it. The white light is strange and incongruent with the surrounding darkness. Instead of lurking within it, it controls the space around it, drawing the attention of any would-be viewers. I've never met anyone like that before. But their expression is so cold that I have trouble feeling regular human goodwill toward them. I can't even make out their gender. What's their wide, intricately decorated sleeves flutter as, with a sullen face, they walk through the underbrush, across all the branches and leaves scattered on the ground. The more I look at them,
the less they seem like a person, and the more they seem like a skillfully produced work of art come to life. The moment I realize I'm staring too much, their eyes sharpen as they cast their gaze my way. I duck down to the ground before our eyes meet. Wait, why did I just avoid them? Immediately, I feel enough tension to make my heart burst. My pulse quickens, and suddenly the sounds of all the nighttime insects seem magnitudes much louder than before. My eyes! A short silence follows. Finally, I hear them walking away. Sweat drips from me, despite how cold I was before. I quietly get myself up off the ground, casting a gaze toward where they were. But nobody's there. They already left. I feel like I just had a waking dream while standing up. Will I make it back to the dorm in time? It seemed like a good idea to get back quickly before I really let myself be blinded by it.
Today, marriage. Marriage is what brings us together.
Today! I open my leaden eyelids, and an unfamiliar white seeps into my groggy consciousness. Ah, yes. That's just me waking up in the morning. An unfamiliar ceiling. The white ceiling in question is stained in several places and seems lower than normal. Even with that awareness, it's still completely foreign to me. Morning? Fragments of broken dreams drift through my still dream-fogged mind before vanishing. I must have slept pretty soundly. I guess all that walking around I did on my first day had a positive effect on my sleep. Scratching my head, my hair's a mess of curls. I take in my surroundings. Reality begins dawning on me when I see the pile of clothes I left scattered on the ground the night before. That sounds like a drunken night to me. Should I really put my stuff away? Or I should really put my stuff away. That's not a question. As expected, no one came to wake me up. I might have arrived only yesterday, but today is technically my first official day of work. The situation outside my window looks unchanged from yesterday. Enough so that I begin to question the passage of time itself. The dorm. So many choices. What should I pick? I have to make sure to lock the door to my room before I leave. Yeah, some cute girls might sneak in. The key I was given yesterday is so small that without some way to attach it to myself like on a string, the chances of losing it are quite high. Ah, yes. Locking yourself out of a dorm. I remember the joys. As soon as I shut the door to my room, the door next to mine flies open and a disheveled-looking blonde I've come to know fairly well steps out. Holy sh... Do I need to cover this? I think I'm okay. I think I'm fine. Chibi! Morning. You weren't in your room last night. I'm not sure where you were, but it's pretty bold spending the night out on the town on your first day. The only one bold around here is you. What in God's name are you even wearing? Holy sh... She's got the mole, folks. She's got the... Okay. What? This? I just woke up and forgot to change. Oops. I'm such a klutz. Glancing down at herself, she spins around on the spot, posing like a model in a magazine.
Her outfit doesn't leave much to the imagination. Do all city women dress like this? Do you usually forget to get dressed? Go back and change already. So, honest opinion, how do I look? Good enough. Yeah? She's absolutely pulling my leg here. So, you stopped in my room last night, huh? We're neighbors, aren't we? Had to say hello. Well, for your information, I wasn't out late because I wanted to be. I went out to take a look around and I got lost. The temple's massive. You must have had a great time. Don't worry, it'll all fall into place soon enough. Just don't be late tonight, Kay. I want to visit later. Oh, also, could you tell everyone I'm gonna be late? Why? The girl averts her gaze, ruffling her incredibly tousled hair in agitation, clearly annoyed, although I'm not sure why. Look, sometimes girls have these days where we feel bloated and sick. Do you really need me to spell it out for you? Well, fine, but if you don't put some clothes on, you're gonna catch a cold. Okay, first of all, I wouldn't be walking around in something like this on my period, if that's what she's hinting at. 2, how bold of her to go to his room and be like, hey, you want your first time to be Red Wings? You wanna earn your Red Wings? Jesus Christ. Hilarious as always. Yeah, she thinks I'm funny. Her high-pitched laughter follows me as I head to the gathering spot for our department. The cleanup department, located in the most dimly lit corner of the building, always seems bathed in shadows. The closer I get, the more humid it feels. Good morning. Or, good morning, I croak. My voice oddly deep. The tension in my shoulders is even affecting my throat. A chorus of muffled voices returns the greeting, although it's hard for me to tell where they're coming from since no one looks up. Those who reflexively glance my way quickly lose interest. Morning, Maya. Well, don't forget to add a mark on the board. That's for you, not for me, okay? That is for you. That is your own personal thing. Don't you feel special? Well, I am the new guy here. I find myself calling out to the only familiar face in the room.
Oh, Sheeby. Morning. Did you make it back all right last night?
With only her face turned in my direction, her ladylike posture makes her look almost like a peony. She's adorable. I told you, I'm pretty good at finding my way around. How did you sleep? I found the pillows here kind of lumpy and uncomfortable.
Hey, you! Did you come by yourself?
Oh, you're here too?
Just answer the question. Where's that girl? She's still in her room.
Blondie said she'd be late.
Pretending to be sick to get out of work again, huh?
She said something about feeling bloated and sick sometimes.
Excuses. That's what she always says to get out of morning meetings. You should know better. Besides, I'm the one who's gonna get in trouble for it.
What? Huh? Huh? What did I do? Did I just skip a whole section? No! All I hit was enter. What the hell? No way! All I hit was that supposed to happen? Was that supposed to happen? All I hit was I didn't hit anything else. Wait. No, I didn't hit skip. I didn't... Oh, I hope that wasn't... I'm sad. That looked important. I'm so sad. Oh. That was weird. I hit the button. I don't think I was hovering over anything. Oh, well, I guess I'll... I wish there was a back button. Weird. Huh. Did I accidentally hit skip? I don't think I did. My mouse was over here, I thought. Maybe. I don't know. We'll keep going. Alone with Maya, my thoughts randomly turned back to yesterday. Maya's not good at her job, that's simply a fact. She can sweep the floor at least, but she's pretty clumsy. And anything more is entirely out of the question. After mopping, she tromps across the still wet floor, leaving messy footprints behind, and has no idea how to wash windows. Having to redo all her work means what should be a simple task takes twice as long, and helping Maya with her task means I can't focus on mine. Her mood quickly turns as gloomy as the weather outside. Aw, poor Maya. Let's head back. Huh? I don't mind coming back again later on to finish everything up. Besides, it looks like it might rain soon, and I feel bad making you wait. I can go home by myself. Plus, I don't want you to have to come back here twice. I don't mind. I was thinking of taking a break anyway. Ready to go? Okay. Oh. Thanks to the sudden downpour, the road leading back to the temple is a muddy swamp. The grooves in the road are pretty deep, and I know one wrong step means I'll be drowning in muck. I'm able to make a path through the sledge, but Maya, who's right behind me, seems to be stuck, waving her arms frantically in front of her body. Are you okay? If you rush, you'll end up planting face first into the mud, so be careful. Here, take my hand. I take both of her anxious hands in mine. Being so naturally shy, she cries out, her eyes wide in surprise before squeezing my hand tightly. She's able to force her way forward, with the occasional pause to carefully extract her foot from the sledge. It's because of those ankle boots of hers. There's a reason why folks in the cleanup crew tend to wear tall, heavier boots. Takes a while, but we finally make it safely back to dry ground. Well, more or less, my boots and the hem of my habit are both caked in mud, so that it's impossible to shake grime loose. Maya, who steps on the solid ground a moment after I do, looks pale as a sheet, though I quickly understand why. Her formerly white socks are now stained black with mud, just like mine. Didn't take us that long, but the hand Maya clung to is numb from her death grip. I notice her usually pristine hands are spotted here and there with dirt, thanks to the hard work we were doing earlier. Realizing the same thing, her mouth begins to quiver. I'm really sorry, Sheepy. And then she apologizes again. It seems like ever since we came here, all she does is mutter one apology after another. I don't find her annoying or obnoxious in the slightest. But no matter how many times I tell her this, she just ends up apologizing even more. It's like each word I say only seems to make her more uncomfortable. All I want in this moment is to hurry back to the temple and rip off my boots, which are filled with dark black mud. But instead, impressed by how hard she tried to keep up with me without giving up, I slow down to match Maya's pace. We arrive back at the temple to find small groups of people scattered here and there around the main hall. It's usually filled with folks around now, but for some reason everyone's focused on the staircase leading up to the second floor. Oh. I follow their gaze only to immediately stop in my tracks at the sight before me. 3 people, all dressed ridiculously, are descending the staircase, one after the other. As soon as the 3 appear, all of the priests in the vicinity place their palms together, bowing in their direction, almost as if dictated to do so. Very confused, I glance over at Maya, only to find her with her own head bowed in reverence, just like everyone else. I'm the odd man out. Well, to be fair, that's normal around here. But I go ahead and bow as well, copying the folks around me. I furtively watched their passage out the corner of my eye. The person in front is the short guy who asked me about my village, followed by the guy who was with Gret, and finally the bishop from the cleanup department. 1, 2, 3. Shouldn't there be one more? Huh? Just as the procession is about to pass us by, I murmur quietly to Maya, head still bowed. She glances at me before beginning to count on her fingers, still bent at the waist.
It's probably the bishop from the academics department.
Speaking of which, I don't think I know much about that department.
They basically decipher ancient texts and research things. Only very smart people are accepted.
Wow, so that's it, huh?
Yeah. Actually, my big sister has always dreamed about getting in. But no matter how hard she studies, it's not enough. Oh, but please don't tell her I told you that. She'll get angry at me again.
You two from this disposal team, don't just stand there, get cleaned up. The priest barks at us as they walk by, reminding us of something that completely slipped both of our minds. The mud caked on my pants is dried up. Is a dried up brick of muck by now. I glance over to see Maya looking down at herself, blushing furiously.
I'm gonna go ahead and wash myself off. You should hurry up and get changed as well.
Are you heading back early today?
I'm not sure. I'm sorry, but I really have to go.
Sure. Be careful on your way back. I'll see you later. Maya hurries off, but upon realizing she's tracking mud everywhere, slows down as she heads deeper inside the temple. My opinion of her doesn't change, even if she is dressed in rags and caked in mud. But I can tell she doesn't feel the same way. The cleanup department is the only one with 2 showers, one in the temple and one in the dorms. What, just 1 shower? Good God. Perhaps it's just the time of day, but a shower with the only sight being naked male flesh as far as the eye can see is an abomination from any perspective. At least to me. I have no plans on staying long anyway. I'm not a huge fan of how humid it gets in here. The wetness from the air is so oppressive. It makes it hard to breathe. And the faucet doesn't make a lick of sense to me either. The water's scalding hot or freezing cold. No in-betweens. I'm already sick of having to take this many showers. Having hurried maybe a little too much, I arrive at the cafeteria to find no sight of Maya. The 2 seniors who gone off with her are here, which means she probably just taking her time. Standing in the doorway, waves of people move in and out around me. Each time someone sits down, whether alone or in pairs, a musky scent wafts into the air. It's a stench of death, something you can't wash away with soap and water. It's inescapable, enveloping everyone who works here. I hear people constantly say they never get used to it, and yet it seems that they have. I personally can't stand it, but my discomfort has already become part of my daily life. Maya's face naturally surfaces from my jumble of thoughts. I remember how she looked in her muddy boots, her skirt an embarrassing wrinkled, sully mess. I can't help but worry about her. Enough so that it's kinda comical. She must smile sometimes, right? It seems like an obvious fact, but the only image my mind can conjure up is of her bowing, her face a mask of misery. The picture of her that sprang to mind gradually begins to solidify. She's still nowhere to be seen. I have a strong hunch that Maya's probably skipping dinner tonight, and so I hurry to grab some bread for myself before it runs out. I guess part of me misses her, though I don't really know why, and I can't seem to escape the putrid scent that lingers in the air, clinging to the tip of my nose. I should really study the floor plan of the temple so I don't get lost anymore. Now then, where should I go? Oh, we have more. I'm assuming we're gonna hit all of these eventually. Where should we go? The flower garden again? The training grounds? Workplace? Library? Infirmary again? Well, we got some new places. Let's go to the, library. Behind one of the dormitories, filling out the temple's majestic silhouette, is a cute little building I've never been inside. I've been curious about it since yesterday, but it was one of those places I didn't feel like checking out. Keeping an open mind, I enter, but it's so quiet inside that I almost get discouraged and leave. The oily scent specific to the wood drifts about. Did everyone here leave for lunch? My gaze turns to the staircase at the end of the hallway, thinking maybe they're below. Ooh. Library. We'll go to the training grounds next. I'm sorry, the chat's pretty slow. So we'll go to the training grounds after this one. The stairs appear to lead underground, but there are no markers or doors to be found. I can't get a feel for how far down they go, but the stairwell is illuminated here and there. That fact means an outsider like me is allowed to enter. I know because I'm familiar with places like these. The farther down I go, the less I can smell the distinct wood-dew scent. I don't think it's supposed to be that word. Distinct wood scent. Instead, my nose starts to detect something like a flower being burned as incense. Ooh. I think it's one I've smelled before, so for a moment it sets my mind at ease. But the further I go down, the thicker the scent becomes, causing my head to hurt. The sight I eventually reach, though, is so magnificent that the smell doesn't seem to matter anymore. Books. So many books. More than I can count are packed onto every single wall and bookshelf. I'm surprised by how large the space is, considering that it's underground. I look up the spiral staircase I descended. It goes up very high. As it turns out, this cute little building is actually a library. Wow. This is amazing, but something strange about it. Libraries usually soothe the soul, but this one just feels wrong. And it's not just the entrance, the staircase, and the library proper, but the fact that I haven't seen a single person since coming into the building. That's not natural, is it? My muttered remark dissipates into the vast room, gone forever. I seem to be alone, but this whole time I could sense that someone's here. That's definitely creeping me out. Is someone hiding out, watching me? Maybe an unimaginably large group of people? Holy shit. Okay. Are you looking for any book in particular? But as I'm standing there vacantly, a woman suddenly casts a shadow over me. She's a young woman with skin as white as snow, and all kinds of equipment on. She's pretty tall, too, which makes her seem strangely intimidating. Huh? Oh, no, not exactly. I don't read much. I can smell the flower scent from her even more strongly now. It's sweet and powerful enough to immediately distract me from my thoughts. Oh yes, it's definitely the smell. Unlike the scents in the cleanup department, which had a bunch of things mixed together. This one was artificial, pure, and intense. I actually feel like I might faint, so I take a deep breath and snap myself out of it. I shake my head, which prompts a smile from the woman, who's wearing purple lipstick. I guess it was all pretty funny to watch me. I was just kind of impressed. I can't believe every little thing I see packed into here is a book. Are you the librarian here, miss? Oh, well, something like that. Anyway, at the very least, all of the books here are certainly within my purview. She slowly twists her body to give me a good view of the inundation of books. The sight seeps into my mind before my senses pick it up. This whole place is the culmination of over a millennium of history. Something humans have been building up, so to speak, for a long time. You can think of it all as encounters between man and history, between history and history, and between man and divinity. Kinda sounds like something I heard this morning. Except I wouldn't know because the game decided to skip it. How can objects created by people be connected to God? Man's history consists of ties between people, like knots in rope. Our God is the one who ties those knots. After all, it is impossible for the likes of man to attain knowledge outside his awareness with only his own strength. Huh, I see. Am I allowed to be here without asking? Yes, of course. We welcome all to this place. Our lovely siblings, the birds perched on the windowsill, and even the scent of irises heralding summer. Oh, so that was the floral scent. That's right. Isn't it elegant? I received the flowers as a gift, so I used them to create perfume. If you've taken a liking to it, I can give you a bottle. She takes a small purple bottle out of an inside pocket, then smoothly places it into my hands. Whoa, thanks for this. Would you mind if I looked around a little more? No, of course not. But be careful. This place is sure to confuse and lead astray. With that mysterious comment, the librarian turns and walks away, the soft hem of her skirt fluttering. She moves into a complicated array of wall-like bookshelves with an innumerable books on them, and just like that, she disappears from sight. Snapping myself out of my daze, I go to take a step. When I do, I lose my balance and almost topple over. Am I drunk on that perfume or something? I have no idea, but I managed to get my feet to walk properly this time. This huge place is wreaking havoc with my inquisitiveness and need to explore. I have permission to look around more on my own. And I do, wandering this way and that until eventually I come to a door in the back. I look around again. There are other doors like it nearby. I pick one and knock once. Twice, sorry. And then... a child. Whoa, you scared me. What was that for? You should be more careful when leaving rooms. Just as I knocked, the door clattered open, and a person came bursting out. She has distinct hair. It's short and vividly pink. She's a little tall for a girl, though she'd be a little short for it. Why is gender so important to you? Either way, everything about her appearance was pretty much normal. She looked at me, her black eyes going wide. Who are you? Are you here to read too? Huh. Can't you hear me? What's your name? My name? My name is Rose. The mystery girl answers softly, but clearly, then suddenly freezes. Her eyes go wide, like she's surprised about something. You shouldn't be here. Huh? My name is Rose. Bye-bye. Wait, huh? Bye? What happened next happened very quickly. The child named Rose takes a few steps back, her hand still on the door handle, then waves goodbye to me and shuts the door. I've been driven out. I try to get a peek inside to settle this inexplicable feeling, but the door shows no signs of opening back up at this point. This place is interesting. Okay, let's go to the training grounds, as promised. Hello? Ah. If this temple is known for anything, you think it'd be for being a tall enough building that you can see it from anywhere in the capital. This game has so many type moves in it. But even the temple features one building that stands out in particular. A building of an almost arrogant construction makes the temple's silhouette stand out even more. Even without any knowledge of the capital, I can tell at a glance that it is home to the magic department. The magic department. How many times has that mysterious group tripped me up since I got here? The doors of the building are dismal, yet flowery. For a moment I hesitate to enter. But then, praying the truth lies behind these doors, I push them open. Hello. Inside, it is undeniably the very pride of the capital. The ceiling is high and glistens in a golden color like that of a wheat field heralding the coming of autumn. Pure white pillars reach up to it as if to provide the support for the descending light. I haven't seen the sun since coming to the capital, but it seems to still light up this place alone. That's not the only thing that surprises me. If my eyes are still functioning properly, the people here are all doing some kind of training. But not a moment after I sigh aloud at the extravagant sight, I look directly ahead and freeze. All of the people have stopped to look at me. They have all black hair and wear the same clothing. They also hide their faces with a black cloth in the same way. Every single one of them, and they're enough to fill this vast area, looks exactly the same. They all whisper among themselves as they stand there awkwardly. The coincidental disturbance ripples through them, quickly filling the room. Okay, everyone, quiet. An especially tall man claps several times, then walks over to me. He looks completely different from the others here. Instead of black clothing, his is white with gold accents and accessories. Everything about his appearance is so overdone that I can't even tell where that soft metallic noise is coming from every time he takes a step. Hey, what do you need? This building belongs to the magic department, so it's supposed to be forbidden to outsiders and that. You're telling me this stuffy place is only for the magic department? How rude. Magicians have always needed to train in fields other than magic. If you don't have a good reason for waltzing in here and interfering with our training, then we'd best be checking your identification and sending you right back. Enoch, he is not at fault. You're the one being rude. Will you watch your tongue before an honored guest? A new voice rings out clearly in this large room. I don't need to look around for the owner. I find her right away. Although the people in this room all stopped and clearly acted wary of me, they now hurried to part to the sides. As they do, I see her in the middle. She has black hair and white clothing with golden decorations. She basically looks exactly like the man before. Nothing about her particularly stands out. However, she has a commanding presence in spite of her appearance, not because of it, that sets her apart from the rest of the people here. In many ways, she reminds me of the sunrise. My initial impression of her entrance might be simple. But that's what I think when I see the light has reflected off the ceiling and descended, now floating around her. Her vivid blue eyes shine like perfectly clear, serene skies, the kind I can't see anymore in this dark, dismal place. Your appearance must make you Lord Hibika, I guess. We've been waiting for you. Sister! You would still argue your point, Enoch? And what is the meaning of you not knowing his face when you were the one who first tracked him down? Well, I apologize. Hey, wait a second. I'd like to get in a word here if I could. My apologies, sir. Such was not our intent. If anything, it is unclear to you. Please ask. Well, I've got a lot I want to ask, but could we do introductions first? The dozens of people watching me flinch in surprise. Apparently, something I said is pretty unheard of in this capital. It causes a small stir to spread, igniting like a lit candle, then throwing the surroundings into confusion. What are you all standing around for when a guest is here? Clear the way. But one at the center of the confusion continues to stand upright, once again opening a path. Then she gazes at me. Her eyes hold no fear, but I give a start at the control she's exerting over this place. I am embarrassed to say we are not yet prepared for you. But now, please come this way. I will now hear your questions there. Right. I'm not sure why yet, but she seems quite welcoming of my visit. The others echo my thoughts. Why would she be so polite to someone who just barged in like I did? The room she brings me to is warm, comfy, one with a fluffy sofa in it. But I can't really be at ease with her presence here. She takes a seat across from me, with the man from before standing beside her. The man still seems unhappy about the situation overall. Please allow me to... Please allow me to introduce myself. I am Arne Alternata. Arne Alternata, eldest daughter of House Alternata, and auxiliary bishop of the magic department. I have heard much about you from my uncle. Your uncle? Was there a black-haired boy, short of stature, in your village, brother? Oh. Certain circumstances have forced him to remain young. But that man is both my uncle and the current bishop of the magic department, Erzabet Alternata. That's a pretty long name. House Alternata is pretty much the most famous magic family out there, you know. You must really be from the total boonies if you didn't know that. Did I not tell you to watch your tongue? Go wait for us outside. Ugh. I'm sure you've got important stuff to talk about to our guest. But we're in the middle of training, so please don't draw this out, sister. The man freezes at her barbed comment for a moment, but then assumes orderly expression as she looks between the two of us. But that's all. He simply nods and exits the room, apparently not willing to object any further. My word. It's quite noisy outside. Though I suppose it always is this time. She sighs, watching to make sure the door closes all the way. At first I think she's lamenting the current situation, but her expression is now more peaceful than it has been. With that, I'm able to face this RNA Alternata woman without distractions. He is Enoch Apis, like the bee. He is Enoch Apis, another auxiliary member of the magic department who protects the bishop. He's not related by blood, but I was raised with him from a young age. I consider him my younger stepbrother. Despite his earlier behavior, he is generally docile and dependable, and as his stepsister, I would like to apologize in his place for his rudeness. Hey, I really don't mind it that much. Don't worry about it. Still, though, you're family, huh? I was thinking you seem kind of alike. You seem to get along well. This temple is home to several departments, but the magic department differs somewhat from the rest. They have all built up familial bonds with one another. The fact that I am able to stand before them and lead them, if only in minor aspects, is also a source of pride for me. As you are soon to join us, Brother Hibika, I would like you to feel at ease in regards to speaking with me. Alright, that reminds me, I wanted to get some more details on all this if I could. Wait, well, what is the story? I was the cleanup crew and now apparently I'm supposed to be something else. Unfortunately, he has not been able to spare the time for these past few days. It pains me to place the burden on you instead. But would you be able to stop by here tomorrow afternoon? I will tell my uncle in the meantime. Tomorrow afternoon? Okay, gotcha. I'm fine with that. I don't have much to do after the work's done anyway. You show us such generosity, despite us having worsened your mood due to lack of consideration. I cannot apologize to you enough. Hey, seriously, no worries. I said I really don't mind. I think I finally know why that man visited me out of the blue. The culture of this magic department is so similar to that of my home village that it makes me uncomfortable. Did I finally escape that group only to end up falling in with this circle? Brother, you seem quite worried. What is it? Well, it's just the whole brother thing seems kind of stiff and formal to me. We're supposed to be forming a bond anyway, right? Why not just call me Shibi? Shibi. Does that name hold some sort of meaning? No, not really. It's like a nickname, I guess. Everyone in my family called me that too. A nickname, I see. A very good custom indeed. If I wouldn't be rude, may I also refer to you as such? Sure, and since your name is Arne, why don't I just call you Arnie? Please, no. That's the first time anyone has referred to me like that. So this is how it feels. I will treasure this name you've bestowed upon me, Brother Shibi. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. Still feels weird being called that, but whatever. It's fine for now. It's nice to meet you, Arnie. Oh god, it's so bad. The pleasure's all mine, truly. Oh, and if you're heading back, allow me to assign you an escort. Like I said, I'm fine. Where should I go? I want to go to the flower garden. That's where I want to go. I like the flower garden. Excuse me. I like tarps. I like what? Walking out into the yard, I see a familiar figure. Maya's sitting on the bench, hugging her knees to herself, like an anxious mess as usual. Before I can call out to her, the sound of pebbles crunching under my shoes gives me away. She immediately winces in fear while turning in my direction. Just as surprised as she is, I raise both hands out in front of me, as if to show I'm unarmed and perfectly safe. The look of fear in her eyes immediately softens once she sees me. Seeing her is comforting for some reason. Maya, I was wondering what I'd do if you weren't here. Did you eat already?
Nope. My sister's not around today. Plus, I don't have much of an appetite today.
You sure?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm used to it.
From the way she's talking, I guess this kind of thing happens often. Instead of an answer, I offer her some of the bread I bought from the cafeteria. Made from local ingredients, there's still a faint smell of warm butter from the bread roll. Her eyes widen in surprise again, but this time I notice her body trembling faintly.
You brought this? For me?
Well, I had a feeling you probably skipped dinner, so... Well, I brought a couple, so you and I could eat here too. It's better than going hungry.
Oh.
Her hand hovers uncertainly for a moment before she takes one of the rolls. I can't help but feel sorry for her as she nibbles at it, though Maya seems more relaxed, no longer curled up into a stiff ball. I sit down next to her, glancing absent-mindedly around the garden. It's almost definitely a garden, though. Although not very conspicuous, mostly containing rambling roses. The sight of bright red blossoms blooming all over the curved archway is fairly lackluster, probably thanks to the abundance of wilted petals, likely from neglect. I remember how out of place it seemed the first time I found it. Such a beautiful spot buried away right next to the cleanup department. And yet, the gloom that pervades the office feels entwined between the neglected roses. What seems to catch Maya's attention isn't the roses in full bloom, or the archway itself. It's the bit of dirt between the bricks where the small flower buds are just beginning to sprout. So small you have to squint to see them. Well, sitting here, I can tell this is her favorite bench. You can see the buds better from this spot. She seems happier than usual, watching her favorite budding blossoms, looking so much more like weeds than the gorgeous flowers they'll eventually become. You don't get along with your sister, huh?
But pardon me?
Oh,
Why do you say that?
her expression immediately stiffens. I have no intention of picking on her, quite the opposite. Well, the reason why is I noticed she basically ignored you yesterday and she didn't offer to help you out at all, despite being way more experienced. And I mean, look at you. You're here all by yourself, right? I don't mean to stick my nose into your family business, but it's hard for me just to sit back and watch.
No, it's fine. And I know how it looks. The thing is, about my older sister is that she tends to worry a lot. But I swear, she's a good person. And she actually taught me so much. The reason why she's so cold sometimes is because she's so sick of me being a good-for-nothing pain in the butt. I mean, I would be too. Also, I can tell you're really worried about me, Shibi.
Huh? No, I mean, anyone would be worried about someone who always seems sad all the time, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I'm sorry for making you worry. You really don't have to.
So here's what I'm thinking. If I felt things were more awkward between us, the best thing would be for me to tell this mud-covered girl, I know, but I do it anyway. I'm assuming the reason why she doesn't believe me is because I'm always giving her vague responses with my true feelings mixed in. You don't have to apologize all the time. I don't know what other people think, but I swear that you've never bothered me in the slightest. Plus, I know how much you put into your work every single time. If anything, seeing you struggle just makes me want to help you more. Which is why you don't need to apologize to me. Even after giving it some thought, I still find myself at an ambiguous impasse. Besides, I feel like I'll just sound crazy if I say what I'm thinking out loud. As the silence deepens, regret washes over me.
You're so strange. I know how boring it is to be with me, and yet, well, you've stuck by my side this entire time. So you should know better than anyone. No one's ever said anything like that to me before. You're really weird, Chibi.
I'm not weird. It's the people you surround yourself with who are the weirdos. Blatantly giving someone the silent treatment like that, I don't think it's very nice.
Aw.
Oops, no matter how much I No matter how much I don't get her older sister, she's still Maya's family. She must feel pretty uncomfortable having me badmouth her own family in front of her. Sorry, I didn't mean for it to come out like that.
It's okay.
Followed by the tiniest sliver of a voice, almost too faint to hear.
Thank you for caring about me. I think I should say something next time.
Well, yeah, seems like the much better strategy in my opinion. The corners of her mouth just barely curl up into a faint smile, though there's no joy in it. She looks different than how I remember, a smoldering, empty husk of her usual self. Maybe because this isn't how Maya really feels. Or maybe because she's not as happy as I thought she was. Regardless, I'll never be able to forget that subtle gesture. That didn't seem like a smile at all. Decision time! Let's go to the nurse's office. Thankfully, my memories from yesterday haven't led me astray. The infirmary is located from the central lobby and all around the corner. The cheerful atmosphere that only seems to exist here feels warmer, in part, because I've been outside in the cold for so long. Still, everything seems slightly different. There's a rather large stack of boxes near the door, and as I enter, I see Dr. Gret carrying more of them. My oh my, if it isn't Chibi. Could you be a dear and wait just a moment? I've got my hands full. Want some help? You don't mind? That would be great. Here. Oh, these are pretty heavy, so don't hurt yourself. I should be able to handle this much at least. Rolling up my sleeves, I hoist one of the boxes up off the ground. Some boxes are lighter than the others, though the heaviest I can't lift without supporting part of it on one knee. She'd planned on leaving the boxes on and around the nearby shelf, but with my help and being so fired up, we were able to get everything put away in their rightful spot quickly. She's quite the sight, standing on tiptoe, her slender arms trembling as she tries to place a box on the shelf that's almost just out of reach. She's the type of person you can't take your eyes off of, in more ways than one. God damn, just checking her out. Whew. Couldn't have done that without you. I could have easily lifted one or two of these boxes by myself when I was younger, but those days are long behind me. Oh, come on. Don't be so hard on yourself. Oh, my. Looks like my secret's come out. Despite my appearance, I'm basically the custodian around here. What kind of host am I, making my guests do the work for me? Go on and make yourself at home. I've got a tray of cookies today. Oh, I appreciate the hospitality, and these cookies look great. What are you doing with all these boxes anyway? Isn't this the infirmary? It's just some supplies. Stuff like the toothbrushes you guys use, masks, underwear. When folks around here run out of daily necessities, they can swing by and grab some. I also have some other priests running medicine and bandages to the sick ward too. Normally, the bishop helps me with that, but they're busy today. I saw him this morning. The guy with the glasses, right? That's him. With his hair all done up, he looks like a different person. If only he cared about his appearance more often. Oh, and worked on his posture. Uh-huh. Oh, right. There's something I wanted to ask you. And what might that be, Chibi? What exactly is an auxiliary bishop? My. They didn't tell you? So, for example, you know how trainees like yourself can become priests after their probationary period is over? Auxiliary bishops are a step up from that. They basically act like assistants to the bishops above them. Not only do they keep the bishops safe, but they help keep them with They help them with work and manage the department in their place when necessary. Yep, something like that. Oh, then you're an auxiliary bishop as well? Winner, winner, chicken dinner! I'm Gret, the health department's auxiliary bishop. I'm not exactly the custodian. Wow, then those weird clothes are a perk of being the bishop's assistant? Nope, not exactly. Once you're baptized and become an official priest, you can order special vestments that visually designate your stigmata. What do you mean? Well, basically it's like this. Stigmata are a fundamental part of our divine power. And yet, showing them off is a big no-no, which is why it's possible to get custom-made clothes that'll help cover them up. So what you're saying is the coat you're wearing is like a vestment? Doesn't look all that special to me, though. This coat was just me asking the bishop for a favor. I guess you could call it an exception to the rule. It's a little embarrassing. I know most folks around here aren't like me. All you youngsters are so sweet and serious. There's something that's been bugging me for a while now. How old are you, Doc? A lady never tells. So rude. Why would you ask? It's starting to get dark. I can visit one more place, but then I'll have to head back. It's almost... They don't give you an option. Yeah, I can head to one more place. The one more place that appears. Workplace. The only sound in the workplace is the mechanical clacking of machinery. Even from a distance, I can tell no one's there. Glancing around this desolate place brings to mind memories of the cafeteria, bustling with priests coming and going. Apparently, no one wants to deal with any work-related business until after lunch. I remember bumping into that weirdo here yesterday, though even he's nowhere to be seen. Maybe he's eating lunch at the cafeteria? If so, my respect for him might go up a touch. He seems to carry a shroud of lonesomeness around him in the midst of all this clamor. Lost in thought, I suddenly feel someone poke my shoulder, catching me off guard. Who? Oh! I turned to see someone I wasn't expecting, or rather the last person I would have imagined here. What is the bishop doing in a place like this? Once I've calmed down, she laces her fingers together, including the one that poked me, and looks at me with a bright amber eyes blinking twice. Don't just sneak up on people. You practically gave me a heart attack. That's my line. Now what are you doing here, Ibika? As nothing more than a trainee. I thought your work ends at noon. Sorry, but you could say her eyes are blue, but bathed in this light, they glimmer like amber waves of grain, swaying on a plateau. Beneath the pitch-black heavens of the polar night, the light from the candle she holds flickers. The gold that fills her eyes swaying alongside with it. She's only holding a single candle, and yet, perhaps due to how used to the dark my eyes have grown, the glow from the flame seems preternaturally bright. Encompassed by a golden glow, it has the effect of making her seem even more ethereal than usual. And then she touches me without a warning whatsoever. There's no way I can calm down from that so easily. But anyone would be scared out of their minds having an important person like you seemingly walk out of the shadows and poke them. Maybe say something first next time? I did, in fact, do just that. Huh? When? We are all
united through God, our Father, who art in heaven, with our minds and souls connected. Thus, there is no need for verbal communication. I need you to talk to me in a language I can understand. That was a joke. You're something else. I feel like I'll never get the type of humor here. So, that means you came here as part of your training. How admirable. Well, I guess I'm doing that too. Am I in the way of your work? No. I was just on my way back. I was merely surprised to see an unfamiliar face in this all too familiar place. I always find it exciting when new brothers and sisters join our fold. Good to hear. Yesterday I got in some guy's way and he got so angry I thought his head might explode. That guy with the stick up his butt. I'm assuming you mean Secured. That's not a nice way to talk about your fellow brethren. You know? So it's just a story, really. It's what it seems like. It's just, yeah, it's basically an anime girl visual novel. Yesterday. Ah, yes, of course. You see, I have a tendency to pass out and collapse. And he often helps me out. Thank God for that. Truly. No, come on, shouldn't you be thanking the guy helping you out over God? I thank God for bringing us together in the first place. Well then, having lived most of my life in the small village, I haven't really talked to many adults. And yet, I've never met anyone as hard to communicate with as the bishop. Her mannerisms seem natural enough when she talks about her own subordinates. She thinks she knows them well, yet seems oblivious to the way they talk about her behind her back. Honestly, it's pretty awkward, though I expected as much. There's no other reasons for this strange awkwardness. I begin to speak, hoping to confirm them. So, Your Excellency, were you not in the woods yesterday? The woods? Near the old chapel that's deep in the woods. That's what I mean. There's a chapel outside? Nope. Nothing's coming to mind. Liar, I saw you there with my own eyes. And we even made eye contact. Honestly, I can't tell you how shocked I was at the time. No need to get so upset. Huh? I'm not upset. Oh, right. Sorry for raising my voice so suddenly. I'm truly sorry. To tell you the truth, thanks to an accident in my childhood, sometimes I have holes in my memory. Seriously? How does that work? It's hard for me to explain, but
For example, sometimes I'll come to and realize I'm in a different place than where I thought I was, or talking to a complete stranger as if I know them. I have no clue what I was doing, what I should be doing, or even the date at that time. It's all a hazy mystery. I have folks telling me they've seen me in places I don't remember being. Are you sure that's normal? I'm fine. After all, I'm blessed by God's everlasting presence, so it's not actually that problematic. On the contrary, I'm not sure if I should be impressed or what. But I guess that would explain it, though I'm still not completely convinced. The discrepancy between our respective memories is a little bizarre, right? I see what you mean. Well then, please come and visit me, as capricious as the morning glories, and as often as possible, to make sure I don't forget you, Brother Shibi. I'll try my best. I hope I'll be seeing you a lot more in the near future. Ah, just one thing. Did you by chance enter that chapel in the woods, Hibika? I didn't go inside, I just poked around the area. Access to that area is forbidden. I believe there are signs on the opposite side of the road from the chapel. I know how adventurous you are, but if you're not careful, you'll find yourself in trouble. Seriously? Sorry about that. I'm pretty directionally challenged, and I simply got lost on my way back to the dorms. I probably didn't notice the signs because of how dark it was. I'll be careful next time. Brother Hibika, you're quickly becoming a person of interest. I don't want to hear something like that coming from you.
My cat. She sleeps on my keyboard. Cat. You can sit on my lap. Ah! That's my tit, you... Ah! That's my tit!
Ouch! Mean cat. Meanie cat. I walked around way too much today. Absently munching on the butter cookie I got from Gret, I opened the door to the cleanup department's main office, and I'm greeted by lights. I immediately spot a man sitting in the dimly lit room, glaring at me. It's Sekret. With his slight build, the tilt to his eyes as he looks up at me makes him seem almost cat-like. Having grown up around cats, I have a strong affinity for them. Yo, someone's burning the candle at both ends. Want a cookie? Sorry, that's half-eaten. You skipped out on your morning assignment. Ooh, she got me good, my cat. Holy cow. He wastes no time in raining verbal abuse down on me. Come to think of it, I've never gone along well with cats. What the hell are you talking about? I absolutely went, yeah? I got a call complaining that the priest who was supposed to stop by your house, number 3, this morning never showed. Thanks to you, I had to deal with him screaming at me over the phone for half an hour about how the demolition on the house had to be delayed. You should have been there. House number 3? Suddenly, the information from the form in the binder pops into my head.
Crap. After making sure Maya made it back to the temple, I completely forgot to go back and finish. Assuming he'd just been his usual annoying self, I suddenly feel like someone punched me in the back of the head. He heaves a sigh, unable to read what's going on behind my panicked expression. If you're going to make it here, you have to at least be able to read the documents we give you. That wasn't the problem. I read the document just fine. Then what happened? I forgot. You forgot? Seeing his reaction of utter disgust leaves me feeling equally as disgusted with myself. I rack my brain trying to come up with a logical explanation for my emotional response. I wanted to make sure Maya didn't get lost getting back, and I simply forgot to finish the job. That's all there is. For starters, it's a pretty bad look throwing someone who's been here less than 2 days right into the thick of it, with only a single document explaining what to do. I guess you've got a point. He pushes past me before opening his locker in a grandiose manner. He's acting exactly the same as yesterday. That's his way of showing me how angry he is, I guess. I'll take responsibility for your training moving forward, so don't do anything unless I've explicitly told you to do so. And the same goes for that girl as well, got it? He doesn't look me in the eye. Once he barks orders at me. Finally, after tying his shoelaces, he looks up before turning my way. You can head back to the dorms after you get all my paperwork done. What? Excuse me? It needs to be done, and I have to take care of the job you botched so spectacularly. I'm never going to hear the end of this. Sort them by date. Though, I guess if you can't even read, you might as well just leave. Don't fuck with me. He simply clucks his tongue in response to the dagger shooting from my eyes on his way out. With him gone, it's just me, a dimly lit room, and a seemingly endless stack of papers. That son of a bitch. I slammed my fist onto an empty spot on the desk. It's already the middle of the night. Am I stuck with that jerk every day for the unforeseeable future? The fatigue in my legs makes them feel leaden. I tiredly unlock my door, and just as I open, the door next to mine swings open as well. Oh boy! I thought it was just perfect timing earlier this morning, but I guess she's been waiting for the sound of my return. Either way, Blondie is clearly grumpy. Oh, she's fully clothed. You really like to wander around late at night, don't you? Getting used to this place yet? Hey there, promise I wasn't out having a good time. Part of me wants to blurt out, I'm just having a string of bad luck. But I stopped myself. Alright, well, did you end up getting any work done today? I took the day off, remember? I wasn't feeling well. Seriously? You were actually feeling bad? Well, yeah, of course. You don't believe me? Come on. I'm disappointed. Sorry. I was joking. So, how are you feeling now? Better? Well, I guess I'm okay. Nah, honestly, I'm still pretty lousy. But if you actually feel bad for me, maybe you could bring me some water? Maybe I will. Seemingly amused by my vague answer, she laughs gleefully. And then with a wave of thanks, she slams the door shut. I heave a belated sigh in the wake of her over-the-top exit. Why is everyone slamming the door on me? Why on earth is a guy as worn out as I am running errands for someone who's not even that sick? The more I think about it, the more tired I feel. So I simply focus on putting one foot before the other. Stop being such a simp. Oh god, we're in a room now. Jesus!
I always assume they pumped it in from somewhere deep in the mountains. I have no idea when she had the time to change, but she probably had that on underneath. She probably wears that all the time. You never know. She just says it's stripping time, and then she just... Yep, hot to go. But she's certainly dressed up in the same underwear she was wearing this morning. Though, I guess it'd be accurate to say she stripped instead of changed. I think it's fine. Maybe a little lukewarm. You didn't put anything in it, did you? Like what? You know, like drugs that'll let you have your way with this gorgeous body of mine. Something like that. What kind of guy do you think I am? What would I get out of that anyway? Seriously? You really are an innocent young lad, aren't you? She keeps her hand on the doorknob after accepting the glass of water, taking a few steps back as if inviting me in. I'm so tired that a part of me wants to turn down her offer, but the door shuts before I can even speak, almost ridiculing me. Seeing my eyes practically boring a hole through the door, she laughs, feigning ignorance. If you plan on staying up a bit longer, then why not hang out with me? By the way, do you have a girlfriend? Nope, and I have no interest in getting one either. No way. Not even one. You're not interested in holding hands with someone special at all. All the women in my life have always been related to me. Oh, she'd been taking one step after another, inching closer to me while engaging in this boring conversation before suddenly plopping down on her bed. Causes the water in her cup to splash out, soaking her chest and running down her stomach before forming a puddle on the ground. Oh, I'm such a klutz. Look at me. I spilled it all over myself. What do you think you're doing? Oh, gee. My hand slipped. Oops. Her lacy bra, the fabric so thin that it barely hid anything from view, to begin with, is now completely see-through, exposing her tan breasts. And yet she doesn't seem embarrassed in the slightest. In fact, she seems to be enjoying herself. I'm gonna hover over the, emergency sensor. The faint anxiety that's been gnawing at the pit of my stomach begins to grow stronger. From the moment I entered her room, no, from the moment we met, she's been toying with me. Do you mind if I lay down? This is your own room, so you don't need to ask for my permission. I try to look away from her body, which is laid out brazenly before me, but she grabs my arm, pulling me closer. So, wanna sleep with me? Huh? Don't you think that's a bit much? As I lay down beside her, moving awkwardly, that strong scent I remember smelling for the first time we met assaults my senses, piercing my brain. Your skin's so smooth. Her cool, slender fingertips trace the skin on my cheeks before moving in an arc down to my waist. The chill that races up my spine causes my heart to beat faster, hammering urgently against my ribs. I'm curious. Why aren't you interested in women? I don't know. That's just how I am. I have no need to be. My throat suddenly really dry. I managed to spit out my answer after a brief pause. Well, that's because you don't know the first thing about women. Well, yeah, last I checked, I'm definitely not a woman. I don't want to be pressured into anything, and yet since the moment I stepped inside her room, I felt unable to speak up in my defense. It's probably because of how dry my throat is. That's not what I mean. Oh, that's not what I mean. You just lack experience. She sits up before crawling over to where I'm laying on the bed, bringing her thighs close to mine. As I watch this bizarre scene unfold before my eyes, she presses her black panties against me, sliding them down over my butt. Okay, I'm gonna make sure I hover over this button just in case. This is awkward to read, but I'm gonna read it. Sliding them down my body. I'm shocked, speechless by this sudden development. She snickers, seemingly amused by my reaction, causing her plump breasts to jiggle in front of my face. It finally dawns on me what's happening here. Wait. Shh. I'm tired of hearing you talk. She shushes me as she lifts herself and puts her leg against my lower body. I can smell an odor coming from her as she pushes her weight against the lower half of my body, though I can't tell if it's from her perfume or sweat. Tell that bitch to take a shower. Without a doubt, that odor is coming from her body. I'm close enough to her that I can tell the odor is coming from her. The sound of clothing rubbing against each other grows quicker, alongside the sound of her breath getting closer to me. Her irregular nasal breathing and the sound of saliva pooling in her mouth flows into my... What is she doing? What is she doing? Is she, like, swishing her spit around, trying to seduce you? What is she doing? Jesus Christ. That uncomfortable wetness manifests itself in a lazy tongue that digs in and wets the inside of my... Oh, she's just licking my ear. Great. Wets the inside of my ear. Her disheveled blonde hair covers my face, going into my nose, and this sounds awful. I gasp for breath and involuntarily scream out. Reflexively, I try to get up, but I can't even lift a finger. She's completely on top of me. Huh? Why aren't you aroused? And like that, she stops what she's doing and lifts up her body. Between raspy breaths, she spits out several strands of her hair. Suddenly, my body is light again, and I can feel a cold wind against my skin. I realize that I'm sweating, and I'm feeling dizzy from my inability to breathe earlier. I just, And like that, she's done. She stops talking and pulls back her hand, which I was reaching for her underwear. What? She's done. She stops talking and pulls back her hand, which was reaching for her underwear, plunging the room into uncomfortable silence. Dumbfounded, I look up at her and her eyes meet. She's been watching me this whole time. The somberness that suddenly sprung up between us feels so heavy, I'm unable to move under its oppressive weight. If you don't want to do this, it's fine. I have no intention to... I don't know. You were kind of doing it earlier. You were kind of making me uncomfy earlier. Her voice is husky and curt. I must have accidentally hit a nerve. No, this is not your fault. This is not your fault. You didn't want this to begin with. Wait, it's not that I don't want to. I focus on something else in the room, averting my gaze from hers. The mood in the room is killing me. All I hear is this infuriating dry whisper from my throat. Does she think I don't want her? To be honest, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't interested. It's not that I don't want to, it's just... Please be safe for work. Please be safe for work. With her hair hanging in front of her face, I can't see her expression. However, I can tell she's laughing. Having pulled back, she suddenly reaches forward, pinching my cheek between her cool fingers. Her long, sharp nails dig into my skin, causing me to cry out reflexively. And then her tongue slithers into my mouth like a writhing snake. The same tongue that crawled into my ear a moment ago feels so warm. The sound of our combined spit dripping down my throat fills me with revulsion. I simply lay there as she sucks on my tongue, my jaw idiotically slack as she orally assaults my mouth. Her moans entwine with my desperate gasps for air. Each time she opens her lips wide, forcing her tongue deeper inside my mouth, her teeth mashing painfully against my gums. When I find myself unable to hold my mouth open any longer, she traces my lips with her tongue. She leaves my cheeks, nose, and eyelids sticky with saliva, like a dog lapping a plate clean. I smell the burnt stench that's unique to the sterile food we eat from my spit-soaked face. Does it feel good? Huh? Do you like that? Her quivering voice repeats the same words over and over. Her glistening, moist lips resemble... My mouth's getting dry, too. Her glistening, moist lips resemble a reddish-black mollusk, fleshy and unappealing. I can't seem to understand the words spilling from her lips. It's clear this was never about what I wanted. Her cool hand reaches inside my hot and humid pants, clinging wetly to my skin. I'm prepared. I'm hovering. Okay, I think we're fine. Oh, do I do it? Just... She digs around at a nearby shelf before pulling out a cigarette and sticking it between her lips. The white smoke she spews into the air makes my eyes sting. The temple must not be as strict as I thought. If priests are allowed to do stuff like this in their rooms. So why exactly did you do that? I felt bad for the poor virgin who's never even held hands with a girl before coming here, and whose only feminine interaction here has been with the naive hillbillies. Naive hillbillies? You mean Maya and her sister? I thought you guys were friends. Seriously? There's no way I'd be caught dead with that angsty bitch. I despise her. You know she came banging on my door this morning, making a huge racket. And you know I hate her too. I mean, she's so obnoxiously clingy. Am I right? I bet you didn't know this, but girls like her always put up an attitude to hide how ugly and unpopular they are. She probably thinks she can get a status boost by hanging out with me. Who does she think she is? As if I'd hang out with a lesbo. Ew. Gross. They say most people become more honest after working up a sweat, which seems to be true, as words I'd never imagined hearing from her freely come pouring from her mouth. Unsure how to reply, I simply stay silent. Come on, say something already. Some of the ash from the tip of her lit cigarette drops onto my bare leg. Startled, I immediately sit up furiously, rubbing my red and inflamed skin. What is your problem? You're out of your damn mind. What are you getting all upset for? You're the one who ignored me first, you know. I have plenty of other friends. Which reminds me, I'll introduce you to them tomorrow. They're all practically dying to meet you. I'm honestly fine not meeting them. Seriously, knock it off already. I'll see myself out. Going so soon? Good night then, though I doubt you'll be able to sleep very well. I snatch up my clothes and practically run from her room. She waves goodbye from her bed, all traces of her former aggressiveness gone. Not that it matters, since I want to leave, right? Once I firmly close the door of my room, the hammering in my chest finally begins to calm down. I feel as if she put me under some kind of spell, the effects of which are finally wearing off. My hips are still sore, and I feel nauseous, proof that it really did happen. All I want right now is to take a shower, but I really don't want to walk through the dorm by myself this late at night. With my thoughts an anxious blur, fatigue from the long day behind me slowly begins settling over my body and mind, making it hard to focus on much of anything. And perhaps it's just my imagination, but I catch the faintest whiff of cigarette smoke. Three-day. Okay. So, if I can, I'll end it here, and we can continue tomorrow. Because I realized how late it is. It is a long demo. Yeah, so we're just going to, save. Yep, we're gonna save right there. I think that's a good note to end it on. Okay. Well, I know it's kind of long and it's a lot of reading, but honestly, I love reading. I love reading to people. So I hope you're enjoying listening to me. Because I do enjoy reading stories to people. So I hope you guys have a good night. Thank you all for who are attending, and thank you all for who are tuning in later. If you like what I do, if you like the vibe, please subscribe. There's a lot more content to look at. If you're not interested in streams, there's definitely some shorter content that I plan on making in the future. So feel free to check that out as well. Alright. Well, as always, you know how it goes. Tomorrow is another day. See ya.